Evening, y'all. Chief Prepper here. Let's talk about a couple of things. I've said in the past where things are going to get worse. And right now, I think we're at the tip of the iceberg. If you're not paying attention, we have recalls left and right on vehicles. It's not one manufacturer. It's almost all of them. For sure on Dodge Ram pickups, Ford stuff, Jeeps. Pick a vehicle, there's recalls. The other thing is, if you're paying attention to the food, they're doing recalls on beef. Walmart's got a recall on cakes or cake mix nationwide. It doesn't seem like we go more than a week. I think there's a Spam recall too, where we don't go more than a week, or a week where we get one or two recalls of each. So, as the labor market gets worse, as the economy gets worse, there are going to be more and more of that. And then we're going to start probably entering into actual outright shortages. Because companies, managers, and supervisors will be under pressure and the gun to try to maintain the current production level with less workforce. So just understand when I say we're at the tip, it's going to get worse. So if there's something you're going to buy, recently I purchased my wife a Jeep instead of getting land in the spring. The reason I did that was because winter's coming, the economy's faltering. If it completely collapses, then fingers who can touch it own it. So the loan will be sold, maybe not. Depends on if the bank I'm going through collapses or not. But it's real property, so it'll be what it'll be. She wasn't a fan of the Jeep I bought her. It was a 2018 Moab. It had 61,000 miles on it. She didn't like the mileage. What she didn't want to spend the money for a new Jeep. So I shopped around for about a week after I looked at the Jeep, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty much the best thing going. So in the end, she got a Jeep. I'm pretty sure she's happy with it. But it's a 2018 JL. She had a 2018 JK Rubicon. The JL is much better. And she got a Moab, so it came with doodads and stuff. The 2018-2019 Jeeps, to my knowledge, don't have recalls on them. Anything that was made in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, probably 2024 with this COVID shit going around, where people are working longer, harder hours, quality's going to go down. That's just the way it is. So make sure you consider your purchases. I have big financial moves sometime in the future. I don't know when yet. So we'll see what's going to happen. But in the end, it's going to be a thing. So weigh your purchases very carefully. There's a lot of indications that we're going to see higher inflation than we already have. Watch Magic Prepper's video. Basically, everything's going to go up 10 to 20%. So I saw a news article tonight. They're saying oil is going to hit $120 a barrel. So all this financial shit on top of impending World War III, nuclear war, pick what the fuck you want to call it. So weigh your money options fairly carefully. So another thing I wanted to talk to you about is most people in America, unless they've been in inner city gang fights and gunfights and stuff, or they've been somewhere where someone was shooting at people, most of you haven't been scared. I'm talking about fucking sitting there praying to God, going, God, please get me through this. I bring this up because I got Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring on right now, and it shows the scene where the guy's sitting there mumbling to himself as the Black Riders ride through town. He's like, please don't get me. I would like to say that's not coming, but it's probably coming. So if you haven't been scared before, you're probably going to be scared. You know? So we have a national collapse on the monetary side. So I don't know if it's going to happen because they lose all their power if that happens. But I can't see problems coming. John at Pepper Nation said that he doesn't see a civil war coming. And I kind of differ on that because I think that we may see a civil war. I can't hardly talk to a Democrat or a liberal because I asked them if they think the economy's doing well, and them fucking dumbasses actually say yes. Or they make excuses for the person that they think is doing the greatest thing since sliced cheese on why, gas is $3.50 a gallon, and it was under $2 under Trump. Interest rates were low. Now interest rates are through the fucking roof. Economy's sucking. People are starving, getting kicked out into the street. And Joe Biden he's the greatest thing since fucking sliced cheese. I saw a news article tonight. Michelle Obama's sorry ass is probably going to be president in 2024. I'm saying it. I told a friend of mine about it like 2 weeks ago. He's like, that's just a false rumor. I'm like, oh, okay. So I sent him the news article tonight. I said, told you so. So, what else can we talk about? Try not to keep this too long. One of the reasons I've said this in the past, and I'll say it again. One of the reasons I encourage you to take up hunting is you can shake out your gear. One of the things I'm going to do in the not too distant future is I'll get dressed up like when I go hunting. And I'll show you some things, and I'll put on a pair of snake gaiters that I don't normally wear, but I've got them. They're Kevlar, so they're supposed to protect me against all snake bites here in the U.S. Told you about footwear. Right now we have clothes that are designed to keep us warm when we go from our house to our car. You need to imagine a world where you need to stay warm when you're outside all the fucking time. So, they make insulated coveralls. Might not be a bad investment. Just coveralls in general might not be a bad investment. Try to get the ones without reflective material on them, but you don't want that. The other thing I didn't cover is when I did the video showing the first demo with the body armor. When you put on body armor, that helps retain massive amounts of body. So if you have body armor on, you might need a sweatshirt or something for your arms, maybe a hoodie for your head. But you ain't gonna need no damn coat. I will demonstrate the knee pads and elbow pads. I gotta find them. They're missing. Weird. Talk to you about why you need them. I'll also show you some gloves that I have that I really like. So one thing that doesn't get covered a lot on any channel is apparently when you're in a gunfight, it is common for a weapon to be hit with bullets because your body, you may be looking at the guy, but you will shoot at the threat subconsciously, and that threat is not necessarily at the guy, it's the gun shooting the bullets. So I know at least one soldier in Iraq who got shot. This finger, right here, almost lost his finger, but they saved it. It's permanently straight. They thought he was going to bleed to death because they couldn't get it to stop bleeding, so he had to be medevacked out. That was 10 to 20 yards away shooting at each other. So I have said try to avoid contact and fights, but if you can't be lethal, if you figure out someone at a distance is a threat and you have the skills and ability to shoot them, with a long range or accurately with a weapon of peace, that's a personal decision. Just realize there are people out there who know things that you don't know. There may be someone watching you watch that person. So keep that in mind. war and battles and fighting. It's like a chess game, you know. Here's what I would tell you: don't waste no pieces, don't waste no moves, don't waste no time. If you're in a knife fight, prepare to be cut or stabbed. If you're in a gunfight, be prepared to be shot. You know, people think that shit's like on TV. John Wayne with motherfuckers standing up shooting each other. That ain't how it works. Most of the time it's an ambush. And most of the time somebody dies. What else? Said in the past, start buying your holiday food right fucking now. Especially if you have a deep freeze, you can buy the turkeys and throw them in the deep freeze, and they'll be fine come Christmas and Thanksgiving. You know, buy some cans of cranberry sauce now, and then you know, buy some. I like yams or sweet potatoes, but I like sweet yam. I don't know what the fuck you call them. I call them sweet potatoes, but got marshmallows on them and stuff. Very bad for me, but I like them. You know, you kind of got to wait on the pies. You can buy the green bean casserole stuff, less the, I think there's hamburger in that, so wait on that. I would tell you that one of the reasons I bought the Jeep is because I don't know if we're going to stay in Texas. So you got to look at what you're doing. So if you know you're going to stay where you're at, then you make plans accordingly. But you should also remember that even if you're staying where you're at, you might have to leave. Texas is past summer, and summer ain't over. We're in the hundreds for the next 5 days. It's very dry. Fire hazard is a severe problem. And right now, we've been somewhat lucky. We've only had a few large fires. I say large fires in excess of 1,000 acres. What else? Oh, I said this before too. You need to buy extra bug chemicals. When I say bug chemicals, I'm talking about the stuff to help control the bugs in your area. Imagine a life where, like me, I have dogs that I love dearly. They sleep in the bed with me and my wife. And imagine if we got fleas and we didn't have a way to kill them. Dogs wouldn't be very happy. They'd be howling and crying for like 2 weeks because they wouldn't be allowed in the house or in the bed. Right? So, not to mention how miserable they would be. So, that's just one example. You know, we got all kinds of bugs down here in Texas. So, I definitely invest in some backup power of some kind. There's been 2 reports in 2 days saying that the ERCOT, the Texas Council Grid, whatever, our electric grid, we could see rolling blackouts by fall because there are plants that go offline for maintenance. And I guess if we're going to have no electricity or sketchy electricity, it's better in the fall, but it may not be as cold than the end of the middle of December, into January and February, when it's typically as cold as it's going to get here in Texas. So, and they're predicting a harsh winter here. So you need to pay attention to the weather forecast. So I would recommend you prepare for whatever there is locally, and then whatever there is locally that would be considered a natural disaster. If you prepare for those 2 things, then you're a leg up and a way ahead for preparing for shit hits the fan. And then this last subject, I would have firearms that shoot the same caliber bullet. I say multiple for a reason. Things break, things jam, you might lose one. So if you have ammo for it and you have a backup or a second one, and you haven't lost the full capability, you only lost a portion of your capability. Or if one of the guns gets shot in a fight, so when your eyes aren't fucked, then you still have another gun. Anyway, I think that's enough for now. YouTube's full of bad news. Regular news ain't covering it, so You've got to find happy medium and sift through it and go, okay, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense. Oh, I don't believe that. Make your decisions. All right? Information is knowledge and power. Chief Prepper, out.